to set up virtualization environment in any of the organization, isn't it? As part of that, we saw using VMware ESXi server. So that's actually VMware ESXi is called as a server, actually, which is it's an hypervisor of type 1. Type 1 hypervisor means it's an virtual machine which can be virtual machine software or the virtualization software which can be installed directly upon the bare hardware. So it is called as type 1 hypervisor or bare metal model hypervisor. And the name of the software is VMware ESXi, and the version what we installed was version 6.5. In that we saw like we assumed that there is a hardware dedicated server. Upon that, VMware ESXi is installed. That is, it occupies this place of an operating system. It itself will behave like an operating system. Now, upon that, how to create virtual machines, that we saw. So, as part of that, we had created one virtual machine, and inside that, so we had created something called as Trail VM3, one virtual machine. Inside that, we installed the server edition of the Windows operating system, that is the Windows Server 2016, isn't it? Then now upon that, only task is you can install whatever the applications that you want. Now I think you got an idea about like how they will set up the virtual machines in the company, how an admin is going to maintain them, then how to select resources such as RAM and secondary storage, isn't it? How much you want, we can select. And at the same time, you also saw how to install the operating system and the device drivers. That is very important, actually. So application installation, everyone will do, but installing the server version of the operating system, then loading that device drivers, then creating the virtual machine, that is very, very important. Then I also told one more concept of virtual center. Students, virtual center, actually it's a concept which is very much essential. When I say a server, within one server, actually we can create lot of virtual machines, lakhs together we can create. And as I told, there is a concept called as server consolidation. So what we can do, if you do server consolidation, and if we link together multiple servers, and upon that if we install VMware ESXi, obviously there are so many servers. Now using them, you can create one virtual center where each virtual center contain a number of data centers. What kind of data centers? Virtual data centers. Actually, physical data centers will be present somewhere else, but you can create always virtual data centers where each data center contains clusters, n number of clusters, where each cluster contains virtual machines. Now, from this, you need to understand within the VMware ESXi server, where these virtual machines are created. These virtual machines are created inside the clusters. So that is the point that you need to understand. Then, what is the need for virtualization? See, before cloud computing, what happens when there was no cloud, but still we are using virtualization. We're using virtualization. That means your admin used to access remote applications using the software like VMware ESXi, and you used to allocate space for your applications, and without your knowledge, say for example, if one server is exceeding its capacity, so that is the point where your application performance starts degrading. So then without your knowledge and without any downtime, you can migrate that application to some other virtual machine or some other server itself, isn't it? So those are the things which can be done. And the purpose of virtualization, as you know, when you don't have actual resources, you can use always virtual resources. So that is what even you are going to achieve with cloud computing, isn't it? Say for example, when you get an email and if you don't have a suitable software to open that document, say for example, you don't have MS Office and your friend has sent you one Excel file. So using Google Docs, you can view that. which is a virtual software, isn't it? Similarly, similar kind of service can also be provided within the organization by using virtualization concept. So that is the reason why each and every organization they used to have their own virtualization setup, and they'll be having few admins who will look after them. And how those admins will maintain the resources? They'll create virtual centers. Using the virtual centers, they will access remote servers and they can control them. That's the concept. Students, today we will see a demo on Amazon AWS. See, in the previous class you saw how to select virtual resources like RAM, processor, secondary storage, and so on. Now similarly we will see using VMware EC2. EC2 means Elastic Cloud Computing. That is one of the concept which is an example for infrastructure as a service. AWS is an example for infrastructure as a service, how to access virtual infrastructure. So that we are going to see today. 1 minute, I'll share the video. So this is a video which I have demonstrated in the previous semester for your seniors. And now my AWS account, so that has got expiry. Now I cannot do login into my AWS because that account got expired. So that's the reason why I'll show you my own video, what I have done in the previous semester. Before that, I need to do some settings, right? Audio settings. This is stereo mix. And you have to create your account. So the prerequisites for creating the account is you should have either debit card or a credit card. Okay, I hope at least you all have a debit card. Okay, so debit card or credit card is compulsorily required to create a account. Now I have created the account. So now you assume you have created the account in AWS. Then the procedure is to create the AWS account. You should have two things. One is the email ID and another any email ID, and another requisite is created the account. So the prerequisites for creating the account is you should have either debit card or a credit card. Okay, I hope at least you all have a debit card. Okay, so debit card or credit card is compulsorily required to create a account. Now I have created the account. So now you assume you have created the account in AWS. Then the procedure is to create the AWS account. You should have two things. One is the email ID and another any email ID, and another requisite is credit card. Okay, now since I have already created the account, I will just log in into the AWS portal. We should log in. And very importantly, one thing we need to do here immediately after logging in, we need to select a suitable time zone and the area. See here, it is coming by default Mumbai. That is okay for me. So in Asia Pacific, we have Mumbai. So that's why I have selected Mumbai. So why? Because see different countries, in different countries, Amazon follows different pricing models. And what I heard is, so it is very much minimal in US East, that is in North Virginia. If you select US North Virginia, so the charges, the cloud charges are very minimal. Or else,
if you want, since you are very much comfortable with the rupee based transactions, you can select Asia Pacific. Okay, select Asia Pacific, or you can select Virginia, anything is fine. Okay, after that, you see here what you can see, this is the homepage of Amazon AWS, and we call it as AWS Management Console. So in any of the AWS Management Console, we have two things here mainly. One is the services and another one is the resource groups. So under services, you can see you have compute related services, blockchain related services, and data analytics related services, end user computing, Internet of Things, security, identity and compliance, management and governance, storage, and still scroll down, we have few more. Database, media services, migration and transfer, containers, game and development, mobile. See, there are so many services, isn't it? See, business applications, robotics. That means you can see the range of services provided by AWS. And whatever the services that you are seeing here, they are all cloud-based services. Okay. So while studying the architecture of AWS in your textbook, they had given one diagram. In that we saw there are 4 types of services. In that, as per that textbook, that is compute-based services, communication-based services, then storage services, and additional services. Okay. So you can see the storage services here, and resource groups you can see here. See, when you create or you you launch some applications, you can be part of some group. That group can be selected here. We call it as the resource groups. If you do not select any group, by default it will make you part of some resource group. Okay, that is very important for the cloud to track and manage the consumption and other information. Okay, now, so in this demo, what we are going to explore is very primarily. So first of all, why we go for cloud? So we'll be having some application. We need to hire some infrastructure on lease basis. Okay, and we can go with suitable pricing model. So then we can start working with cloud. Okay, so now you can see here, if you know the name of the service, you can say you can search here using find services. Okay, or you can see here recently visited services. Say recently I visited EC2 billing, AWS Cost Explorer. See, AWS Cost Explorer is one service where you'll get information about different pricing models. See, look at here, AWS Cost Explorer. Let us see what it will show. Basically, for new users, it will not show anything. So first, it will expect you to use it for a few days. Then it will customize one pricing model exclusively for you. You see here. So so far I have used only free services very cautiously, so that nothing is being charged for me so far. So that's what you can see with this dashboard. You can see here, and also you can fix the budget. Say for example, for this month I may fix the budget of say 1,000 rupees. Okay, and it will create an alert. So when the time is nearing, when the consumption is nearing 1,000 rupees, it will raise an alert so that I can become cautious and I can adjust my budget. And if you have any saved reports, okay, then there are so many things. Let us see what is there in recommendations. Okay, there are certain recommendations for me. Actually, first time when I opened this, nothing was there. Why? Because it was expecting me to use it for a few days, then it will customize. Now this is what they have customized for me. So savings plan type, so compute type and EC2 instance. That means compute type means depending upon how many resources I have taken, so that it will charge. Okay, then while allocating the resources also it will show. So what is the cost? Then otherwise you can select based upon number of EC2 instances. That is based upon number of virtual machines you want that you can select. So, and the saving plans terms, okay, 1 year plan is there, 3 year plan is there, and payment option. So all upfront. So upfront means, see here, are linked to the credit card. So that means without my permission, it will at the end of the month, it will directly take money from the credit card. So that is called all upfront. Okay, and partial upfront. Okay, that is you can reserve little bit amount. Okay, say for example, if you are let us assume you are going with 1 year plan, and you are fixing the budget of 50,000 rupees for 1 year, and you can make the partial payment in the beginning, that is 25,000, like that. Okay, and other plans based on the past usage, so 7 days, 30 days, and 60 days. And I told you, so Amazon, compared to Amazon, Windows Azure is having better pricing models. Okay, so now without wasting much of the time, so today's topic is Amazon EC2, that is Elastic Compute Cloud. So go to compute, go to services, compute, then select EC2. Okay, EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. It provides instance services, that is container services. Container is nothing but virtual machine. Okay, so you can see here resources it is showing. In case if you have taken already some instances, if they are running, it will show the statistics here. This is the dashboard where you can see. Okay, there are 4 security groups there, and there is one key pairs. See, key pairs, that is nothing but the password authentication related. I have created one key pair, so and that I have saved in my system. So whenever I want to do remote login to any VM, so I'll use that password. So that is helpful for that purpose, key pairs. Okay, now our first intention is to how to hire the instances, EC2 instances. So for that you need to click launch instance, select launch instance. Now it is launching the instances. So now we should be very cautious. So you can see here free tier eligible. So now I am going to consider only where I can see this option free tier eligible. Okay, you can observe here that free tier eligible option is not enabled for all the instances. Say for example, you look at here Amazon RDS, for which that free trial that is not eligible for free trial. So you can see Windows Server 2019 base. So yes, it is eligible for free tier. So if you select, say for example, look at here Microsoft Windows Server 2019 with SQL Server 2000 standard. If I select that, it is not eligible for free tier. That means directly, if I launch that instance directly, it will consume money from my credit card, and in the month end, I'll get the bill. So anyhow, to be cautious, now I'll go with Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. So that is, I will go with the server edition of the Microsoft operating system 2019 edition. So why I'm going with the server edition means already you have worked with the desktop versions. You know what are all the features available in the desktop version of the operating system. So that's why, okay, to explore something new, I'll go with the Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. Okay. So now our process has started. Now we are done with the first step. First step is choosing the instance. So while choosing the instance, we have very clearly chosen which is eligible for the free tier. Okay, under that we have a general purpose. You can see here once again, by default it is highlighted free tier eligible. That is T2.micro. Type is T2.micro. If you select any other one, you can see here it is not eligible for free tier. Since it is free tier, number of virtual CPUs that they are allocating is only 1. Okay, if you make it more, so you may have to pay money from your credit card. So I don't want to pay anything from my credit card. So I'll go with the default. You can see we have vCPUs means virtual CPUs. We have 1 CPU. They are providing freely for us. So and they are providing memory 1 gigabyte. 1 gigabyte of memory they are providing, and elastic block storage. See, this is somewhat similar to storing in a hard disk. Okay, just like how you store in the hard disk. Similarly, Amazon Cloud is providing a service, storage service, which is called as EBS, that is Elastic Block Storage. Okay, so that they are providing. Okay, network performance low to moderate, and it supports for IPv6 as well. Okay, now click on next. So next is, you can see here, next step is to configure the instance. Click on next. Now we need to configure the instance. Okay, so by default we need only one. Okay, actually here I can take 1 or 2, 3, it doesn't matter. Okay, and here, in case if you request spot instances, if you enable this, see, you can observe here availability zone and the money that they will charge. So they will charge money. Okay. Okay, say for example, now you have chosen only one instance. So after some time, you feel like you want one more instance. So there is a provision. So dynamically you can add it. So for that, here you should enable this option. Okay, so they will charge. So I'm happy with one instance. I will not do any changes. Okay, and don't do any changes here. You can see here. So VPC network, they are creating one by default. They are creating one VPC. VPC is nothing but virtual private cloud. Okay, to provide privacy for your application and for your data, they create VPC. Okay, if you want to customize, if you want to create one new VPC, once again that will be charged. Okay, by selecting this, you can create your own VPC. Okay, I don't do any modifications here. And so placement group, say for example, in case of companies, what happens, they'll be creating one particular group and they'll be linking all the instances to one particular group. Say for example, you may have one developer group, you may have one tester group, and so on. Okay, if you have any such thing, you can select the group here and you can link it to it. Okay, placement group, I don't have anything. So I'll retain all the default settings. Once again, next. So now we are in step 3. The step 4 is add storage. So next step is add storage. By default, it will provide 30 GB of storage. Okay. So Amazon S3, by using Amazon S3, it will provide 30 GB. So if you want more than 30 GB, you need to pay money for it. So up to 30 GB, it is free. Okay, I'll go with 30 GB. Okay, then don't do any modifications here. And the data is not encrypted by default. Okay, so you can say if you want to encrypt, you can select this KMS key aliases. Okay, now I'll retain I'll retain what is already available, the default setting. So, and look at this warning message here. Free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of elastic block storage, general purpose, or magnetic storage. Okay, beyond that, it will be charged. Next is adding the tags. So adding the tags is nothing but giving some name to your application. Say for example, the purpose of having this instance is I want to host my application. To host the application, I need one web server. So I'll give name of my container is web server. Okay, and the value is IIS. That is, I'll create one IIS web server. Okay, I'll use this container or this virtual machine to host one web server by name IIS. Okay, now next step is configure security group. Okay, it is creating new security group. So here type RDP. So RDP is nothing but it's a protocol for remote desktop. Okay, so since you are hiring the resources from the cloud, so when you log in into some virtual machine, so that will be actually present, that will be hosted in the data center. That means you are doing remote login. So we are selecting RDP, that is remote desktop. That's a type. The protocol is TCP, and you retain all the default ports. Okay, and actually this one you can custom. Okay, actually they have given custom here. So I'll select anywhere. If I select anywhere, so using the URL, I can connect to my remote machine from anywhere just by using the browser. Okay. So look at the warning message here. Rules with source. This IP address 0.0.0.0/0 will allow all IP addresses to access your instance. We recommend setting security group rules to allow access from known IP addresses only. Okay. See, if you have this IP address, it will allow access to all the IP addresses. That means it is not that secure. So better you customize. Okay, now anyhow we are not a company, so we don't have any big requirement. Okay, so I'll select anywhere. Okay, and let it be this 0.0.0.0. Let it be there. So I'll review and launch. This is the last step. Review and launch. Okay, now select launch. So review. So instance type t2.micro. That is the name, some name that they have given. So variable virtual CPUs 1, memory 1 GB. So instance storage, type of storage is elastic block storage. Okay, EBS optimized available. No, it is not available because we are not going with any pricing model. So we are going with free tier. So we cannot optimize. Performance is low to moderate performance. Okay, and security groups, everything you can see here. Okay, you can check all these things, and at the end you can press launch. So that now it will launch the virtual machine. Okay, so now, this is a security related step. So select an existing key pair to create a new key pair. That means why this is required is when you do remote login to your virtual machine, so there should be some security. So for that, you need to select some existing key pair, or say for example, now I have already created one key pair. So I'll select choose an existing key pair. So what you have to do is you have to select one, create a new key pair. So it will generate one .pem file. Okay, that you have to store in your file. Sorry, that you have to store in your local computer. Okay, now in case if I select create a new key pair, then it will generate one .pem file. You can give some name to that and you can store in your local machine. Now since I have already created, now for me what happens if I create one more new key pair, so I'll get confusion while using for the next time. So for that reason, I'll select choose an existing key pair. And if you feel you don't want any authentication, okay, you can select proceed without a key pair. Okay, now I'll select choose an existing key pair. Okay, now name of that existing key pair is, okay, it's a .pem file. Actually, I have stored it in my local machine that I'll show you. Name of
Excuse me, sir.
Winky AWS key. Okay, that is useful for remote login into the virtual machine. Okay, now select college, then launch the instance. Actually, we are launching the instances. So that means before launching the instance, there is a security.
Excuse me, sir.
You need to select the key pair. So when you are using it for the first time, you have to select create new key pair so that it will generate one, it will download one .pem file. Okay, that you store wherever you want safely in your local machine. Now your instances are now launching, and this is the name of the instance. The following instance launches have been initiated. Now if I click this is the name of the instance. Okay, so actually I can give some name for that instance here. So I'll give instance 1. select here, tick mark. Yes, yeah, I have given the name instance one. Okay, now anyhow we have launched. You can see here the instance state is running. Okay, so in case if there is any error, it will state check. You can see here, observe status checks. It will show error message here. Okay, now everything, all the steps we have followed. Now it is initiating. Now select connect. Okay, select connect. Okay, now you retain what is default. Okay, a standalone RDP client. Okay, standalone client. Select that option. So don't select session manager. Okay, so you select the standalone RDP client, then click on download remote desktop file, RDP file. Now you can observe it will download one RDP file. So it is here. Hello, can you see this? Hello?
Sir, please full screen the window.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah. Okay, you can see that RDP file that is required. Now, next thing is get password. Now, see the name of the, see this will be the URL, public DNS. So this will be just like, so now I am aiming to host my application. So the URL of my application will be ec2-13-233- so until Amazon AWS.com. So that is the URL. Okay, get password. Okay, to get the password. So the following key pair was associated with this instance. So the key pair is venky.aws.pm. So that is a PEM file. Okay, now select that file. So now in your case, what happens? You will be selecting create new key pair. Okay, so that will be stored somewhere. You will be giving some name to that and you'll be storing in your local machine. Now you will be selecting that file. Okay, venky aws.pm. Open. Okay, that was the key pair that I had saved. Now we need to decrypt. Okay, you can see how complex it is. Now decrypt password. So after decrypting, look at here, the password has become like this. Okay, you can see here, you can copy here. If you come to the end of this password, you can see here, copy to clipboard. Click on that, copy to clipboard. Now it is, the password is copied to the clipboard. Now we need this password to log in remotely to the virtual machine. So now you click on this RDP file. So just now you had downloaded this remote desktop file. Click on the remote desktop file. Don't ask me again. Okay, connect. So now it is launching the virtual machine, that is the container. Now Control V, that is just now you had copied the password, you paste it. So remember my credentials, not required. Okay, okay. Don't ask me again. Okay, don't ask me again. Yes. So that is a certifications related error. Why? Because we don't have a secure network for my system. Okay, my system is actually not secure. So it was the security related warning. Just it was asking whether you want to continue. So I selected yes. Okay, now what was the OS that we had selected? Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base version of the 2019 operating system, server edition. Okay, now so this is a, so now virtual machine basically is a container to host the guest operating systems. So now this is a Windows operating system. Okay, now everything is done. Actually, so now we have finished our work. Now, do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PCs and devices on this network? Yes. Okay, now, so actually we are done with selecting the instance. launching the instance, allocating the resources, then doing the remote login. Now it is now the guest operating system is ready. Now you can host any application that you have. Okay, so now most of the times what happens, say for example, you have developed one project and you have uploaded it to GitHub. Okay, now here there is an Internet Explorer. You can go to Internet Explorer, then you can go to GitHub and you can download that file and you can launch it here. So now what I'll do, so I'll show you how to launch one simple application. I'll go to search here. Now I'll go to Windows. Here there is a server manager. Okay, remember you have to go to the server manager first, because I am intended to deal with the IIS server. Okay, do not show this again. First, now I want to launch the IIS server. For that, I need to add the roles and features to that server. So the step one is add roles and features. Okay. So now my intention is I have to launch one simple website. So to launch that simple website, I need to configure the IIS server. Now I am configuring the IIS server. First, I'll add roles and features. Okay. Before you begin, so there are some instructions that you can read. This wizard helps you to install roles, services, or features. Okay, just you select next. Okay, see here, role-based or feature-based installation or remote desktop services installation. So if you select remote desktop services installation, so I told you that the URL, using that URL from anywhere you can see your application. If you do not select that remote desktop services installation, you can see your application only in the local machine. Okay, now I'll select roles based or feature based installation. Next. Okay, so server selection. So EC2 is a server and IP address of the server. So 172.30.1. that is allocated by AWS. Operating system Microsoft Windows Server 2019 data center. Okay, so here you need to select the roles. Select one or more roles to install on the selected server. So I'll select file and storage services. So yes, that is obviously required. Then I need web server IIS. Okay, I selected web server IIS. Okay, now it is showing like this. So we have web server IIS management tools. Okay, include management tools. Yes, I need add features. Click on add features. Okay, now select next. Okay, don't do anything. So window, it requires .NET Framework 4.7 features. By default, it has selected. You need not do anything. Yes, create. Okay, next. Next, just you click on. Okay, install. You can see here what are all things it is configuring. So common HTTP features, default document, directory browsing, HTTP. So errors related information also it will provide. Okay. So it is installing. It will take 1 minute. It will take a little bit more time. Why? Because we have only one virtual CPU. In case if we had 3-4 virtual CPUs, by this time we could have finished installation. Hello. Okay, using some GUI, just here we are accessing whatever we require. But in case of VMware, in virtualization, there actually what we did was we everything configured from the scratch. That means we installed everything. So we consider one physical server. Upon that, first we installed ESXi. Upon that, we created the virtual machine. Then upon that, once again, we installed the guest operating system. That means everything manually we did. But here, Nothing is manual, everything is automated, just we are following the process steps. Okay, now it is installed, close. Okay, now what we need to do is so go here, go to search. So internet information. Okay, it is showing here internet information services. Select internet information services. Okay, go to search and you can select here their internet information services. So now you are in this screen. Okay, you got this step. Hello. This step is very important. After configuring the IS server, you need to go to the search option. There you type internet information services and you select that service, and here is the window, internet information services. Now there is start page, EC2, and this is the server configured for us. Okay, now explore it. Okay, application pools, sites, explore the site. Okay, you have a default web page. Okay, see in the right side, just yeah, make it full screen. In the right side, you can see here manage website. Okay, browse. We'll see actually. See here, you need not worry about starting and stopping the web server. Automatically, it will take care. Now we'll see what is there in that default website. Okay, I'll click. Okay, from here only you can open browse website. Click on browse website. It will open in the Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer. This is a default page. This is a default web page that they have deployed. Okay, that's a default web. Okay, web page that they have deployed. Okay, now I'll close this browser. Now I want to host my own website. Okay, now simple, I'll show you some hello message. Okay, click on advanced settings. Just below the browse website, there is a something called as advanced settings. Go there. Okay, select the physical path. Okay, you select this physical path, copy this. Okay, Control C, copy. Okay, close. Now go to run option. Go to run. Okay, select desktop application run. Okay, under run, copy that path. Okay, copy that path and click OK. Okay, so that now it will show where this application is hosted. Hello, can you see this? Under advanced settings, I went and I saved the path. Okay, and I came to run option. Upon run option, I pasted that. Then it will open the address where the web page is stored. Now open this web page using Notepad. Open with Notepad. Okay, so now I want to redefine my website. So just for demonstration purpose, okay, so I'll delete all these things. Okay, so just I'll put one hello message. Okay, so control yes. Okay, I'm saving it. Okay, so file name is same. Just I am redefining the contents. So now my web page contains only hello. Actually, you know HTML, right? HTML, XHTML or HTML5. You write the complete HTML code. What is the content of your web page that you can define by using all the HTML, body tag, everything. Okay, now simply for demonstration purpose, I'll put only hello message. Okay, I'll save. So Control S. Okay, once again now I'll go back to this. No, Yes, I'll go back to this IIS Information Services portal. Then I'll select browse. Now it should display hello. Okay, you can see here it is displaying hello. Hello, everyone. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Saket? Yeah.
Yes.
See now we are launching our own application. Similarly, our college website will also be hosted in AWS or some cloud platform. Okay, see now we have successfully hosted our web application. Okay, now I'll close. So this is how we can host applications in cloud using suitable web server. Similarly, say for example, you have some GSP based application, you can select JBoss or Apache Tomcat. Like this, you can install and you can host your application. Okay, so while configuring, so you need to select for remote access. Here I didn't select for remote access. So in case of while configuring the IIS server. Okay. So now we are done with the demonstration of EC2, launching the EC2, then dealing with the operating system, and also so how to launch an application by using IIS web server. Now I'll close this. Okay, let me just minimize this, and let us just minimize this, and let us go back to the AWS portal. Okay, so now we are in the AWS portal. Okay, you can see here the instance status. Name of the instance is instance 1. This is ID, name, and the status is running. Okay, status checks. There was 2 checks. Everything is passed. Okay. You can see here some log related information here. Just if you look at here, you'll get some information. So instance ID you'll get here, instance status, instance type, private DNS, private IP address, and name of the virtual private cloud ID. Okay, subnet ID, everything you'll get here, and name of the file that we use it to do remote login, that is Venki AWS key, that is a .pm file. So such information you will get. Okay, now I'll see. So one more application before deactivating this web server. We'll see one application, that is CloudWatch. Okay, CloudWatch. Okay. Oh, in the history I'll select. Actually, let us see where it is. See, actually I had used it recently, so CloudWatch is here, but I want to show you where it is. CloudWatch. Just look at where it is, CloudWatch.
It's under management and governance, sir.
There are too many options, and we are not that
Management
frequent.
and governance.
Management. Where it is? Yeah, CloudWatch. Here it is. Management and governance. CloudWatch. Okay, one small worry about CloudWatch. See, CloudWatch is one application where it will maintain all the log related information. Say, for example, you are using AWS, you are using 2-3 instances, EC2 instances, and you're working with some 2-3 operating systems like that. So then what it will do, it will take all the log information and it will maintain. And by using the dashboard, it will give you the information about, or it will give you the metrics. Okay, say for example, EC2. Okay, so there is no alarm, so that means status is okay. So like, if you feel to run, say for example, so you are running some applications and there are some performance issues, okay, then it will raise the alarm here. Okay, it will raise the alarm here. So we are using 2 services. One is EC2, that is a container. To host the web services, we have used EC2, so that it is showing here. And we have used Elastic Block Store, that is to host the guest operating system. So that is the storage facility we need. So the storage service that we are using is Elastic Block Store. Okay. So then you can select here overview. Okay, for what duration you want to see the overview. Okay, by default it is showing 3 hours. I select for past 1 hour. Okay, it will show. And default dashboard. Okay, you can see here the default dashboard. It is showing the CPU utilization average. Okay. See, while configuring, there was some CPU utilization, then little bit. Then while hosting the application, once again there was there. Now once again we closed everything and we came here. Now the utilization has decreased. Okay. Then status check failed some. So we never failed. So all the processes were successful. So then what else? Okay, it will show the consumption, memory consumption in Elastic Block Storage. Look at, you see here. Okay, how the utilization is varying. This is the time duration. In x-axis we have the time duration, and in the y-axis we have the utilization. Similarly here also. Okay, that means by using CloudWatch, you will get the statistics about your utilization. So now I'll go back to services, EC2. Okay, so here running instances, 1, because we have created one. See, when we initially came, when we did login initially, the running instances were 0. Now we can see 1. Click. So you should be very, very cautious. Now before we do log out, we should ensure that we will close this instance, otherwise it will charge some money for us. Because even though we are running using free tier, but the IP that they have allocated, that is public IP. So at least for the IP, for using that public IP address, it will charge some little bit amount of money for us. So in that sense, we need to go for the actions, instance state, stop, select stop, yes. So any data on the ephemeral storage of your instance will be lost. Okay. So now before doing this, let us go back to that. There is that window. Yes, remote window. I will close it here. I'll close the remote window. Okay, now I'll go to actions, instance state. Okay, I'll stop. Yes, stop. You can stop and terminate, or directly you can terminate. But the better process is first you need to stop it, then you need to terminate. Yes, terminate. Here terminating is nothing but, the meaning of terminating in AWS is nothing but deleting that instance itself. So if you do not delete that instance, okay, that is not a good idea. Sometimes what we do, we'll forget to stop that instance and will not delete also. That means it will be up and running and it will cost a lot of money. So when you are, since you have linked your credit card to this AWS account, you should be very, very cautious. Before logging out, you make sure that, so whatever experiment you do with the trail options. For whichever the resources there is a trail option, only you select those things. And before logging out, you make sure that you will delete all the instances. So that means you have to terminate. So now I have terminated everything. Okay, now we can explore. Okay, so end user, computing, anything, whatever you want, you can explore. Okay, you have. Okay, at some point of time later on, we'll see some of the other services. Okay, any doubts?
Hello? Hello, students? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Type your USN numbers here. That will be for your attendance. You don't have time to put the attendance. Just type your USN numbers and you can quit. Everyone type your USN numbers and you can quit. Tomorrow we'll discuss. Thank you.